Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is day 2 of the Harper College review. Okay, and our topic today is called synthetic division. It's something you guys really have not seen before, and it's going to look like the first problem is going to look kind of complicated. I'm going to walk you through it, and it's really not that bad, but you got to follow it along. And I'm going to tell you there are 2 problems on the Harper College test that are synthetic division. One's a multiple choice, which is worth 2 points, and one is a fill-in, which is worth 7 points. So when you think about it, it's 9 points out of 100. So roughly 9% of your entire Harper College test is on this day. Okay, so make sure you know how to do it because you'll see it 2 places. Okay, so let me talk about first of all what I mean by what synthetic division is and how do you recognize it. Basically, it's division. It's like long division, but it's called synthetic division. And so let me just start out with a problem here. If I have x cubed minus 5x squared actually minus 3x squared, sorry, minus 3x squared minus 16x minus 12 divided by x plus 2. So that's what the problem's going to look like, okay? And you're going to actually do a division. Now, you might not remember or may not remember how to do long division, okay, but this is the setup for it, okay? So just kind of pay attention to it, you know, soak it in the first time, maybe rewind it, watch the video again. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this guy right here and see that 2, I'm going to take the opposite of that, which is -2. And I'm going to write -2, and then I'm going to draw kind of like a long L like this. Okay? And then I'm going to take the coefficients of these numbers. So this is a 1 here, this is a -3 here, this is a -16 here, and this is a -12. And I'm going to write those numbers here. So 1, -3, -16, and -12. Okay? So the first thing is you got to get that set up correctly. And by the way, if you're missing, see how it's cubed and squared and x? If you're, let's say I was missing that x squared, it went from x cubed to just to x, you have to put a 0 in its placeholder. Every one of those powers has to have a placeholder. So if you're missing one, you got to put a 0 in its place. Okay, so I'm just kind of telling you that ahead of time because it's important. Okay, so now we have this. This is how we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take that 1 and we're going to bring it down to here. So that's a 1 here. Okay, and then you're going to multiply. You're going to say 2 times -1. You're always multiplying that 2 times a number here, no matter how many numbers I have. So I say 2 times -1, which is -2, and you write it here. And then you add or subtract going down. So -3 minus 2 is -5. Okay? That makes sense, right? So I brought the 1 down. I said -2 times that 1 is -2. And then I combine those together, either adding up or subtracting. So -3 minus 2 is -5. That's kind of like, that's it, guys. And then we're going to keep going here. So we're going to say -2 times -5 is +10. Okay, then we're going to add these together. So -16 plus 10 is -6. And then you're going to multiply -2 times -6, which is +12. And then I combine those together and I get 0. Okay? So here's the deal, math fans. The 0 is always our remainder. Always our remainder. And basically, if I can write out what the answer to this problem is, you're looking at these numbers now. Okay? Since our remainder is 0, we're not going to worry about it. I'll show you that in a little bit here. But basically what you're going to do now is, notice this is an x cubed. All right, it's this number right here is always going to be 1 exponent less. What I mean by that is it's going to be 1x squared minus 5x, and that's, this last term is always the constant. Constant means it's just a number. Okay, so -6. And guys, and usually don't put a 1 here. I don't care if you do or not. And by the way, guys, that's the answer. Okay? So once again, you bring the number down, the first number down, and then you start multiplying. Negative 2 times that number, and then you write it in where it's green, and then you add it together, and you get negative 5. So you keep doing that until you get to the end. Sometimes you may have a 0, sometimes you may not. So I'm going to do a problem in a little bit where you don't have a remainder, or you have a remainder, and now you got to write it a certain way. Okay? Okay, so anyway, that's my answer. X squared minus 5x minus 6. Now here's the deal, math fans. If I wanted to check it, I could take this value right here, multiply it by x plus 2, and you know what I'd get? I'd get this guy right here. Get the original problem that I started with if you multiply it out. So remember, multiplying is the opposite of division. Okay? All right, so let's try another problem here. Do kind of a little longer one, a little crazier. Okay, but same idea. So we're going to say in parentheses x to the 5th minus 3x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 11x squared minus 7x plus 3 divided by x minus 3. Okay, so again, this is really pretty easy. You're going to take the opposite of this value, which means it's 3. So you're going to write a 3 here, and you're going to draw an L, a nice long L. And you're going to put these numbers, the coefficients in front. So this is a 1 here, this is a negative 3, this is a negative 3, this is an 11, this is a negative 7, and this is a 3. So I'm going to put a 1, a negative 3, a negative 3, an 11, a negative 7, and a 3. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there. Let me extend that out a little bit more. Okay, all right, cool. So let's do our work here. I bring the 1 down. 3 times 1 is 3. Add these together, I get 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So negative 3 plus 0 is negative 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And that gives you 0. Okay? So remember, see this x to the 5th right here? It's always going to be 1 less than that. So I'm going to say, again, these are our coefficients right here. That's your remainder. So I'm going to say 1x to the 4th plus this one you don't write. You don't say 0x cubed. Then minus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. And that's the answer to this problem. What? So again, if I multiply this out again, if I multiply this times that, I'll get the original problem. 1x to the 5th minus 3x to the 4th, blah, blah, blah. Okay? All right, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, let's do one that has a remainder, just to kind of show you what happens here. So if I do x to the 4th minus 2x cubed plus 5x plus 4 divided by x minus 1. Okay, so what do? Okay, well, it's x minus 1, so the opposite of that is positive 1. So I'm going to say 1, I'm going to draw a line, my big L, and that's x to the 4th, so it's 1x to the 4th minus 2x cubed. There's no x squared, so I'm going to put a 0 there. Don't forget, if you don't put a 0 there, it's wrong. Okay, you're not going to get the right answer. Then you put a 5 for 5x, and then you put a 4 for just the 4. Okay, let's do it. Bring the 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. And then you get an 8 here. Okay, so remember this is x to the 4th here. So it means it's going to be x cubed. Well, always 1 less. So it's going to 1x cubed minus x squared minus x plus 4. And that 8 is your remainder. This is what you're going to do. When you have a remainder, I'll write remainder. you're going to say plus, because it's positive, plus 8 over, and see that x minus 1 right there? That goes right underneath there. X minus 1, and that's your answer. X cubed minus x squared minus x plus 4 plus 8 over x minus 1. Okay? Pretty easy. Like I said, this is, you got, like I said, 9 questions. 9% of your test is this. Okay? So let me do another one. I'm going to kind of make this one up, so hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. If I said 2x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus x minus 2, and that divided by x minus 2. Okay, cool. So you're going to take opposite of that number, which is positive 2, and draw your big L. So you're going to put a 2 here. There's no x cubed, so it's 0. Negative 3x squared plus 0, or plus 1. Right, 1x plus 1, and then negative 2. Okay, that's reasonable. Okay, cool. Don't forget that 0 in there, right, for the x cubed. Okay, so let's just move it down here. That 2 comes down. 2 times 2 is 4. Add that together. 0 plus 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 minus 8, or 8 minus 3, whatever you want to say, is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. And 2 times 11 is 22. 22 minus 2 is 20. Okay, so remember, this was a 2x to the 4th. That means we're going to start out with 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 5x plus 11 plus 20 over x minus 2. There we go. That's your answer. Okay? So I'll do one more with you guys, and that'll be it. I think you guys get the gist of it, but it's really easy. It's, again, 9%, man. You should know how to do this. This should be definitely on your day 2. So let's see. X to the 5th minus 3x to the 3rd plus 2x squared minus 5x plus 1. That's kind of a nasty one, divided by x minus 1. Okay, so we're going to do opposite of this, which is 1. So 1, and then do my L. So that's going to be 5x, or x to the 5th, so it's just going to be 1. There's no x to the 4th, so it's 0. There's x cubed, which is negative 3. There's x squared, which is 2. Negative 5x is negative 5, and a 1, which is 1. Okay? Pretty easy. And then we just start doing it. So we bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Use your calculator. It's fine. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. That cancels out to 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Negative 5 plus 0 is negative 5. And 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Okay, so let's get going here. This is going to be, since this is x to the 5th, right, this is going to be an x to the 4th. So it's going to be 1x, let me write over here on top. So 1x to the 4th. And then the next one is going to be plus x cubed, or plus 1x cubed. The next one's going to be minus 2x squared. The next one's going to be plus 0x, so you don't even write that. And then the last one is going to be minus 5. And then minus 4 over x minus 1. Okay, it looks complicated, but that's your answer, guys. Okay, it's really pretty easy, but make sure you know how to do, we call it synthetic division. Make sure you know how to do it, and you'll recognize it because basically you're going to have a nice little division sign there. Okay? So that's it, math fans. Hopefully you guys are good to go with the stuff because it's on the final. Okay, talk to you later. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.